welcome to Crime in Court. My name is Heather, and this is episode 39, Proctored, Suspicious Video Sallyport, Proctored, Suspicious Sallyport Video Footage. And as you can see in the thumbnail, the four on that door is backwards, and that's because a mirrored version of the video played in court by, as you can see on the screen, the gentleman there is Trooper Sergeant Yuri Bukhenik, and he's trying to play it off like he's the lead, or at least the Commonwealth is trying to play it off like he's the lead investigator when really we all know that Proctor was. And on the stand, he actually refers to Trooper Proctor as the uh, lead officer or something, or not lead, it's something, case officer or something like that. So like they changed his title and making it like he's not the lead investigator and making it that Buchanan is, because he is uh, Proctor's boss. This guy Buchanan, the guy you see on the screen. I think in past streams I've said it in reverse that Trooper Proctor was his boss. He's actually Trooper Proctor's boss. I was wrong if I said that. So correction on the record, he is Trooper Proctor's boss, and they're trying, like I said, the Commonwealth is trying to play it off like he's the lead investigator, so they don't have to call Trooper Proctor. But Karen's defense team is not going to let that fly, and they keep bringing Trooper Proctor up and bringing it up, and you'll see. So we're going to go through some of Trooper Buchanan's testimony. We're just going to, there's some Sallyport, obviously, hence the title of this video. There's some Sallyport footage that looks doctored or proctored. That's where someone, and I think it was Melanie Little stream, came up with that or started saying that, and that's where I heard it. So I'm giving credit to the chat in Attorney Melanie Little stream. She has an awesome channel. She's so smart and she's just really great. I love her shows, and that's where I'm watching it. So if anybody is looking for a recommendation on who to stream with, go to Attorney Melanie Little. Her chat is very friendly. There's no like belittling or arguing with people. If you do, you get deleted or blocked from the channel. So it's a very friendly, loving environment. I'm trying to make that happen here too. So negative comments or rude insults and things like that get deleted. So FYI, just a little housekeeping tip. So let's get into it. Okay, so don't forget to hit that like button and let's get started. First, we're going to go over, this is this is his direct, sorry. We're going to first start with a little bit of his direct because he's going to talk about how he left the hospital that morning after John was pronounced dead. He leaves the hospital and he's going to go find Karen and talk to Karen and do whatever. So we're going to listen to his testimony starting from there, just to give you a frame of reference.
On your way from the Good Samaritan in Brockton to the residence in Dayton, what, if any, communication did either you or Trooper Proctor have with regard to the Dayton police?
I advised Trooper Proctor to contact Dayton Police Dispatch and advised them that we would be responding to the location, 345 Country Hill Drive, and seizing a vehicle. And we were requesting uniformed patrols to assist us in that mission.
First of all, how do they even know to seize her vehicle? No taillight at this point was found. So how do they even, like, what's the connection to, okay, well, John's deceased, so Karen's car? Like, when did they get there? Because obviously we know that the first search of the house, which was done by Canton police when they arrived on scene, and they were the first on scene, the first law enforcement organization to arrive. So they began, and plus was in Canton. So originally it was their call. But then once he was pronounced deceased, the state troopers from the Massachusetts State Police got involved, and that here comes Bukhenik and Trooper Proctor. So now they're involved, and they've taken over the case, and now all of a sudden Karen's car needs to be seized. Why? What purpose of that? I mean, where did they get there? Unless, what's her face, John McCabe, what's her face? John McCabe said, she must have hit him with her car. But even then, like, you need some kind of concrete proof. You can't just go and seize someone's car. So I think she might have had some illegal search and seizure done prior to, even being considered a suspect in this case. I mean, okay. I'm going to shut up and I'll just let you play it and hear it for yourself because I can go on.
And why was that request made of the local PD?
We were going into their jurisdiction. There was a blizzard going on. We were considerate of the circumstance and wanted to be courteous to the Reed residents and not just show up without any uniform presence. We have never met the Reed family. They have never met us. And with the clothing that we were wearing, it would be difficult for them to see that we were law enforcement.
And so
he explained earlier, because of the snow, he took his own personal vehicle to work that day, which I don't even know if you're allowed to do that, but because of the snow. So he said he took his truck because it had four-wheel drive, so he was using that. So we don't even know, like, we don't have any kind of GPS from Massachusetts State Police to tell us where he was all that day or what times he was anywhere. So that in and of itself is problematic, but yet they're also dressed as civilians without real identification that they're troopers. That's also a problem. But that's what he's saying. So he called ahead to let them know they were coming because they weren't dressed properly and he was arriving in his own personal vehicle, which all sounds very shady to me.
as you arrive in that area of the residence in Dighton, where did you position yourselves and when did you arrive in relation to the marked unit from Dighton?
We called them while we were still on the highway and gave them an approximate time of arrival. GPS was not accurate due to the conditions at the time on the roadways.
Why would GPS not be accurate due to the time of the roadways? Does it still not connect to all the satellites and know where you are? That doesn't make any sense.
Once we arrived to Dighton, I positioned my vehicle at the top of Country Hill Drive, awaiting a marked uniformed officer from Dighton to meet us there.
And if you know, about how long approximately did it take you to get from Brockton to Dighton on that particular day?
From Brockton to Dighton, it took us about 45 minutes to an hour to travel that distance.
And if you know, about what time was it that you arrived at the residence in Dighton?
We arrived approximately on the street at 2:30 or so in the afternoon, and we waited for a significant amount of time.
At 2:30. I don't believe that they sat there at 2:30 waiting for Karen and then they say that they told it at like 4 or something when really it was 5:30.
Time for the uniform patrol to arrive.
And when the uniform patrol arrived, at some point did you learn the name of at least one of those officers that arrived at the residence with you?
At the time I did, yes.
And was that an Officer Barrows?
Yes, it was.
Because of that, because he was saying also due to the fact that they were not dressed properly, they had a Dighton. It's a weird sound to non-Bostonians. Dighton. It just feels weird on the tongue. So they took they called the Dighton Police Department and had someone escort them to pick up Karen Reed's car. Again, because they were not dressed, I guess, properly. Although I don't know why they would need an escort because they're state police. So again, or no, maybe they need a person from that state to serve a warrant. Maybe that's what it is. They need like a person from that town present to serve the warrant, I believe, is the law. Anyways, so that would make sense if that they called Dighton Police Department and had them come and meet them up while they were trying to get Karen's car towed.
And so when Officer Barrows arrived, where did you then proceed with Officer Barrow's upon his wall?
Well, the road was only plowed the width of one vehicle, so even though he and his partner were in a F-150 or 250 marked police cruiser, we could only travel in single line. We traveled up to the cul-de-sac, turned around, and positioned our vehicles facing back out to the way that we entered the roadway, or that street. We parked on the roadway since the driveway was not plowed, and we waded through the snow to the front door of the residence.
When you say the driveway was not plowed or you waded through the snow, can you describe to the jury sort of the condition of the driveway as you made your way from the street to the house?
With the blowing winds and the drifting snow, there were locations along our walk to the property with snow varying from knee-high to up to my waist. For reference, I'm 6'1", so it was quite deep in some locations.
Doesn't he come off so smug? Like, for instance, I'm 6'1". Cares about your height?
And as you made your way to the home, what, if anything, did you observe in the driveway?
As we walked up to the driveway in front of the garage, we observed a large Lexus black and color SUV bearing Massachusetts registration 3GC684.
And subsequently, did you come to find out whose vehicle that was?
Yes, once we queried the plate, we learned that the vehicle was registered to the defendant.
And as you're going by this vehicle, what, if any, observations did you make of the vehicle as you were walking past it toward the home?
I observed a damaged rear right taillight fixture on the vehicle. From my vantage point, I also told Trooper Proctor to approach the vehicle closer and confirm what I was seeing, which he did.
And as far as that damage to the right passenger taillight area, can you describe sort of what it was that you...
There's no body cam footage of this, no surveillance footage of this anywhere. That they came out, looked at the taillight. They didn't photograph the taillight. They didn't document the type of damage or how damaged it was. They just, man, that's damaged. Okay, let's put it on the trailer. What? No, you need to document that, especially if it's your evidence. You want to make sure that, the tow truck doesn't like mess something up. So, I mean, I'm not blaming the tow truck driver, but, stuff happens. So you have to make sure that that damage was there before. And obviously, we have some issues with some timing and taillight pieces being found. So this is why this is really important.
You saw during that initial phase?
Absolutely. During the initial phase, I observed snow compacted and caked onto portions of the taillight casing. There were pieces missing, and I knew that because the left side taillight was intact.
Now, there's pieces missing, he says. However, we're going to see that it seems to be working because we have some surveillance footage from the Reed residence when they go to tow it. Unfortunately, we don't have the whole exchange. We just have a snippet, and it's really hard to see, but you can tell that the taillight's working. So we went from cracked to shattered to missing pieces in all of our descriptions. We read through them. We've read through all the court documents and the descriptions that witnesses said it was just cracked. That was Jen McCabe and Carrie Roberts. But then on the stand, Jen McCabe said it was shattered. So, I mean, we had so many variations of that. And what does cracked versus shattered mean? And now it's missing pieces. So could a crack create something to the effect of a shatter or missing pieces as you keep driving? No, we're going to find out that this material is virtually indestructible and they had to use, well, we don't know what they used allegedly, but we believe that they took this light off, they shattered it, and planted the pieces. So let's keep going.
And as you made your way past the vehicle to the home, at some point, are you greeted or do you meet someone in the area of the home?
Yes, once we walked up to the front door, I rang the doorbell, and Mr. Reed opened the front door with the glass storm door, unable to open due to the level of snow on the ground and on the front steps.
And so where were you directed to enter the home from?
Mr. Reed directed us to the garage door, at which point it opened up, and Trooper Proctor and I entered the garage. We were once again greeted by Mr. Reed and invited into the home.
And Officer Barrows, where did he remain when you and Trooper Proctor went in the home?
He remained outside with the vehicle. During our time in the home, Officer Barrows came in and asked what the plan was and offered to have DPW plow out the driveway because the tow truck was not able to maneuver into the driveway in order to retrieve that vehicle.
Now, as far as during any time that you were on scene or at this residence indictment, did you yourself or did you observe Trooper Proctor touch that vehicle at any point in any way while you were there?
No.
And did you observe Officer Barrows or any other personnel beyond the tow truck driver touch the vehicle in any way?
No.
And as far as the tow truck driver was concerned, did you observe that individual touch anywhere in the rear passenger side area of that vehicle at any time that you were there?
No.
So then you
How can we know that for sure if there's no video? There's no body cam footage. Why do these people not have body cams? What year is this? We all have the capability to have our officers wear body cams when they are in these situations so that there is no question instead of he said, she said nowadays. Or, we shouldn't be doing that anymore when we have the ability to have our officers making surveillance every time that they have an encounter. I'm pro, let's have them be monitored 24/7. Like while they're on duty, they should have it running because you never know. You got to go to the bathroom, turn it off. But other than that, I think you need to have it on,
proceed
my
inside the
opinion.
home, and when you get inside the home, where did you go, and who, if anyone, did you speak to?
We were directed by Mr. Reed to the living room where the defendant was seated on the couch. She had her laptop on her lap and her phone resting on the right armrest of the couch.
Now, in addition to the defendant and her father, who, if anyone else, was present when you talked to Ms. Reed?
The defendant's mother, Mrs. Reed, was also present in the home.
And the defendant's mother and the defendant's father, were they present throughout the course of your interview or your discussion with Ms. Reed?
Yes, they were.
And at any point in time, did you ask them to leave or anything like that?
I did not know.
Now, with respect to, can you describe sort of the demeanor or the tone of the conversation that you had with Ms. Reed that afternoon?
It was polite, courteous. She had just went through a traumatic event, so we were considerate of her losing her boyfriend. And we had a normal tone conversation. We were in the information gathering, fact-finding portion of the investigation. We simply wanted to
Information fact finding portion of the investigation. Okay. So, but you went there to seize her car and her phone. So you already think she's a suspect, which I get. She's the girlfriend. And then you got Jen McCabe saying, I hit him, or did I hit him? Attributing that statement to Karen, which we can't be sure actually happened because that statement has morphed and changed over time as well. So, what is the truth here? It's really hard to see, but we can all tell that Canton, the Massachusetts State Police, the Norfolk District Attorney's Office, they are all trying to pull one over on the public, on us, us watching, and they think we're that dumb that we can't tell these things. Fact finding portion of the investigation, but you're already taking her things.
collect her recollection of events that she remembered.
And so throughout the course of this interview, how are you standing? Are you seated? Or how are you positioned in relation to Ms. Reed, and how is she positioned in relation to you?
She was sitting on the couch. We were standing across the room. I don't recall if there was a coffee table, but if there was a coffee table, we would be standing on the opposite side of that coffee table, if there was one present. I do not remember if there was one present. But that's the distance, approximately, from me to the defense table.
And if you could describe to the jury sort of how did that interview or how did that conversation begin? What was said?
First things first, we introduce ourselves, advise the individual we're speaking with who we are, where we work, and what we're looking to find out. The defendant was advised that we're looking to get a recollection of the events, what happened, what she observed, what she remembers from the night before, and to walk us through the last 24 hours or so of activity.
And prior
Do I need to give an instruction, Mr. Riley?
to,
I'm not sure exactly. Why don't I see counsel at sidebar for a minute?
Sidebar. All right, so they're going to the sidebar. This is basically because she's going to give an instruction about Karen's statements or whatever. So, because he's going to testify that these are the things she said, blah, blah, blah. And then, we have to decide, is he telling the truth? Is he not a credible witness, or is he a credible witness? We determine that.
About statements allegedly made by the defendant, Karen Reed, allegedly.
Not we, actually, the jury, sorry, but the jury decides that we could be any jury member. So I say we as a collective because This is our civic duty.
Concerning the crimes that are charged in this case. Before you may even consider any such statement as evidence, the Commonwealth must prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant made the statement that she's alleged to have made, and that she made it voluntarily, freely, and rationally. In determining whether any statement made by the defendant was voluntary or not, you may consider all the surrounding circumstances. These include when and where the statement was made, the nature of any conversations with the police or questioning by the police, and the defendant's physical and mental condition, including her intelligence, age, education, experience, and personality. Your decision does not turn upon any one factor. You must consider the totality of the surrounding circumstances. I'll instruct you about this again at the end of the case, but for purposes of, as you hear the testimony, that's the lens that you have to sort of hear it through. All right, with that, Mr. Lally?
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Sgt. Bukhenik, when you began to speak to the defendant, prior to any sort of substantive conversation, what, if any, conversation did you have with her about the conversation you were going to have?
I just asked her to recount any events and the history between the actions that were taking place.
And how did she initially respond to that?
She stated that she's willing to answer our questions. She just doesn't want to go into too much detail about what transpired. And given the circumstances that she had just lived through, I understood and gave her that courtesy.
And as far as that interview or that conversation went, can you describe that conversation or the contents of that conversation to the jury?
Absolutely. The conversation was normal tone of voice like I am speaking to you right now. Ms. Reed responded in the same tone of voice, answered questions. The content of the conversation began with her saying that, as I stated, she doesn't want to go into too much detail, but she was willing to answer our questions. We asked what she had for plans, what she had for as far as activity the night before, leading up to Mr. O'Keefe being discovered. She stated that she was in a relationship with Mr. O'Keefe that morning, meaning the 28th of January. She got into a fight with Mr. O'Keefe over what the niece and nephew were being fed for breakfast, or what they had for breakfast. She went on to say that she met Mr. O'Keefe at C.F. McCarthy's approximately 9 p.m. the night of the 28th of January, 2022. She stated that the gentlemen were drinking, consuming beers, Bud Lights, and she was drinking vodka soda. Prior to moving on to the bar at Waterfall, the defendant was asked where she parked her vehicle. She told me that she parked her vehicle on Washington Street across the street from C.F. McCarthy's facing northbound. So the vehicle was on the side of Waterfall Bar and Grill. We went on through the conversation, the interview, to the Waterfall restaurant, at which point she was asked if she left C.F. McCarthy's with a beverage or a container from that establishment, to which point she stated that she did not. She also confirmed that Mr. O'Keefe did not have any injuries on him when she interacted with him at C.F. McCarthy's or the Waterfall. He did not get into any verbal or physical altercations with anyone to have sustained those injuries. She stated that once at the Waterfall, they stayed for approximately an hour, hanging out with acquaintances. And then they left the Waterfall. She drove them to, after they were invited to a residence, she drove them to a location in Canton, where she dropped Mr. O'Keefe off.
Why does he not even want to say the address? Like, at this point, we've all heard the address. We all know it's 34 Fairview Road in Canton.
She was asked if she saw Mr. O'Keefe walk into the home at 34 Fairview, and she stated she did not. She stated that she made a three-point turn after dropping him off and left. She was asked whether or not Mr. O'Keefe, excuse me, let me back up. She was asked if she knew how she found out about the damage to her vehicle, to which she stated, quote, "I don't know, it happened last night," end quote.
Now, at some point earlier.
Did you see that? He's trying to remember a script. He's remembering everything because he's like, whoa, 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 back up. I'm supposed to say that first because now it's out of order. And then she does this. And now, oh man, I got it all screwed up. He's totally like prepped, prepared. He had her license plate number. He knew like a bunch of things off the bat, like things like like no one memorizes normally. But he had these things in his memory. But now, look, he's like struggling to remember the order of his narrative of how it's supposed to go. Right here. Oh, scratch at me. The dog needs her bed.
During the interview, what, if any, indication did she give as to who Mr. O'Keefe was with when she arrived at C.F. McCarthy's and sort of how long he had been with those respective people?
She indicated that Mr. O'Keefe was with Mr. Camarano, Kurt Roberts, at which point she was asked to provide contact information, meaning phone numbers for those individuals, at which time she picked up the phone on the right armrest of the couch, manipulated the device, entering a passcode, and provided that phone number to Trooper Proctor and I.
At any point in time in the conversation or interview you had with her, what did anything the defendant say in regards to why she had not gone into the residence at Fairview Road herself?
The defendant stated that she was having stomach issues and did not want to enter the residence.
Now, what, if anything, did she tell you about the later on that morning of the 29th?
She stated that when she woke up, she began looking for Mr. O'Keefe, and when she found him in the snow, she began CPR on Mr. O'Keefe.
And what, if anything, did she say to you about any observations she made of Mr. O'Keefe later on that morning as far as any injuries to Mr. O'Keefe?
The defendant stated that while she was performing CPR, Mr. O'Keefe had sustained injuries and was bleeding from the nose and the mouth.
All right, so we're going to skip over this part a little bit. We're going to go to the video of them at the Reed residence. So let me get us there and back up a little bit.
As it relates to the location.
And what do you I'm showing you with this. Do you recognize that, sir?
Yes.
And what do you recognize that to be?
I recognize it to be Dighton videos as it relates to the location where the interview and the vehicle was seized from.
And what's contained on that, as far as the video is concerned, is that a fair and accurate portrayal of what you observed as far as the defendant's vehicle being loaded onto a tow truck?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Can I put your name around?
Yes.
I'll look to see if you introduce the witness next to it.
Fair and accurate representation. Remember that.
Permission if I could publish those. Click on it and pause when please.
Still, you need to keep your voice up.
Yes. You want to pause right there, please? Now, the Sgt. Bukhenik, from this particular point of the video, do you recognize the vehicle that was just pulled into the driveway?
Yes, I do.
Is that the same driveway that you had walked up from the street to the house in Dighton on that morning?
You can see it says driveway front 2022 129 14 11 56.
Yes, it is.
As far as the vehicle is concerned, what do you recognize that vehicle to
That's
be?
211.
That would be the Lexus SUV owned by the defendant, bearer Massachusetts registration 3 GC 684.
I'm going to keep it pressed like that. Two individuals just exited that vehicle, is that correct, Sergeant?
That's correct.
Do you recognize who those individuals are as far as who they are and what part of the vehicle they exited from?
Yes, the passenger side exit was the defendant, and then the driver's side vehicle was Mr. Reed.
That'd be the father, is that correct?
That's correct.
I'm just going to be the witness to the end. Now, Sergeant, towards the end of that video,
It looked like they were just looking at the light and discussing the taillight.
correct?
That's correct.
I'm just going to be the witness to the end.
Essentially, or they're getting stuff. Oh, maybe they're getting stuff out of the trunk,
Sergeant,
but it
towards the end
doesn't
of
look like the trunk is open, does it?
Witness to the end.
I don't think so. I think they're looking at it. But she had stuff from John.
Sergeant, towards the end of that video, did you observe the
Front.
defendant and her father in any specific area in relation to that vehicle?
Yes, I observed the defendant and her father at the rear right taillight, gesturing or signaling towards the affected, damaged, and missing parts of the taillight.
I'll allow just the direction that they were signaling out.
With the stretcher later.
Okay?
As far as that vehicle's position within the driveway, is that essentially the position that you observed it in when you and Trooper Proctor and Officer Bowers were walking up the driveways and all?
Yes, it was.
And Ms. Gilman, if I got a second of those two videos. If you could pause there, please. Again, Sergeant Bukhenik, if you could describe to the jury what you observed of significance within this particular video.
This video captures the vehicle being moved into position to be loaded up onto the flatbed for transport from the scene.
Ms. Gilman, if you could play.
That would most likely be the tow truck driver, but they didn't even say who's driving it, or did they? Did we even see him get
This
in?
video captures the vehicle
So does he even tell us that that was the tow truck driver?
being moved into position to be loaded up onto the flatbed for transport from the scene.
Ms. Gilman, if you could play.
So, There you see it rolling up the ramp. Look,
Yeah, you really have to keep your voice up.
I'm gonna move that. Look, you can see it lights up. It works. It's intact. It's not shattered. It doesn't look like it's missing pieces necessarily. Like it looks like a normal taillight, except for that one little part I think that doesn't light up because she cracked it. I wish I could make this bigger. Let me actually zoom in on the picture here. I have done that before. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. That's too little. Hold on. uh, Here, let's see. Um, Copy and paste. It's not pasting. Hold on one second. All right, I'm back. And this is the image blown up really big. As you can see, I mean, it's lit up. So I don't know how we got shattered and all the bajillion, I mean, 47 pieces. How does that happen without someone taking a sledgehammer to it? Ask yourself that. All right, so I really quickly just want to show you this. I was watching Sean McDonough. He has a channel called Going Through the Motions. He has a lot of information that tends to kind of pan out. And he's got some insider information. He's former DEA, I believe. Yeah, drug enforcement. Um, so he's former DEA, and he has a really great perspective on this. He's local. He knows some of the cops. And if you're not subscribed to him, I suggest go subscribe to him. But I'm bringing him up because on last night's stream, he actually played a little clip of our witness right now, this trooper, oh, his face isn't there. This guy is having a little too much fun out at the bars with some friends. So let's take a look at this clip.
Button, please. Oh, here we go. He can go to Alex tonight. Look at this. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at the moves. He's your sergeant. We gotta play this again. This is Sergeant Yuri. Look at this
I
mofo.
mean,
Look at him. Get that thing going, baby. Look
hold
at the
on,
girl
hold on.
coming in. Yes. Anyways.
We're gonna do this again. Do I have it sped up? No. Okay. Um, Hold on, let me get rid of that. And now now you can watch
All
it.
right. The first. Okay, I got the first one out. All right, that's why thing going. This is Sergeant. He's your sergeant. We gotta play this again. This is Sergeant Yuri. Look at this mofo.
Look at that. Look at those
Get
moves.
that thing going, baby. Look at the girl coming in. Yes. Anyways.
Well, if he's not spending time in federal prison, then maybe he could become a stripper in his next life because I don't think law enforcement's going to be in his career much longer. So that was just a little bit of fun I wanted to bring to you to break up the stream and show you. We've got a lot to get through, so let's keep going. This is continuing the footage from the tow truck, and as I showed you, we can see that it lights up.
Sgt. Bukhenik, from this still image from this video, what, if anything, is significant you observe in relation to the vehicle at this time that is being loaded onto the tow truck?
The rear taillight is illuminated. You can see a white light.
And look at the time. It is 4:12:31 and 31 seconds. 4:12 and 31 seconds. Right? 4:12 and 31 seconds. We find later that that's not exactly the time that Trooper Proctor put on his affidavit as to when they picked it up, or whatever he writes it on his report. He says a different time, which is much later.
Coming from that taillight.
If you could, using that laser pointing out before you just direct your attention to the specific area you're talking about.
Right there.
Okay. Just tell me if you can play this through me.
Also, I mean, how do we know that the inside of the car isn't a crime scene? And how do we know, was the truck driver wearing gloves? I mean, his DNA is now in the car, so how do we know that it's not all contaminated? Good question. How do they do that with cars without, somebody's got to drive it? How do they do that without contaminating the crime scene? If the car is the crime scene, you don't want to contaminate your evidence.
And you can take that down.
I don't know
Now,
if it was
Sergeant Bukhenik,
done.
as far as when you left the residence in Dayton, where is it that you went?
Can we turn the lights on, Mr. Lally?
Yes, my apologies.
Once we left the residence in Dayton, we proceeded, following the tow truck, back to the Canton Police Department.
Remember, Canton has been recused off of this case because of the conflict of interest between Kevin Albert, a Canton police officer, and Brian Albert, the homeowner of 34 Fairview Road, the scene of the incident. So there's a conflict. So they were recused off the case, although they say it was because state police always take over when it's a death or something. I don't know if that's true, but that could just be the Commonwealth, trying to shush us again on that and gaslight us. Because I feel like this whole trial, they're trying to gaslight us. I feel gaslit for sure. So anyways, let's continue with this. So we're gonna next is the Sallyport video. I promise we're getting to that, and then we're gonna watch it on Cross again.
And was there anywhere else that either you or the tow truck went between Dayton and the Canton Police Department?
No, sir.
And when you say we, it's yourself and Trooper Proctor, is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, once you arrived at the Canton Police Department, where did the vehicle go?
The vehicle was unloaded and put into a heated Sallyport located at the Canton Police Department.
And in reference to the Canton Police Department and putting it in Sallyport, why was it that it was taken to that location?
It's a location that serves as a storage for a vehicle that would suffice for the size of the vehicle. The location is, as it related to the crime that took place was investigated, was in that town. So we utilized their facility. It was also a heated facility to help melt the snow that had been accumulating on the vehicle.
And at some point, as far as some point subsequent to this, did
Believe
you
that?
learn that there are exterior cameras of the Canton Police Department as well as cameras within the Sallyport garage area?
Yes, I did.
And have you reviewed each of those respective cameras prior to your testimony here today?
Yes, I have.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
All right, have you seen this
Wait,
disc?
Almost, you can introduce.
Okay, they're gonna play this. There's gonna be a sidebar, I think.
View of this camera.
Oh, this is
Just
this is
for
fine.
reference
This is
points,
just
in regard to this view of this camera, Sergeant, you're familiar with the Canton Police Station?
Yes, I am.
And so where is this camera view in relation to the Canton Police Department and the Sallyport garage where the vehicle eventually goes?
This camera is capturing the driveway entrance to the Canton Police Department. As viewed from Washington Street, that driveway there is on the left side of the structure. The camera itself is pointing towards the entrance of the driveway to the Canton Police Department. As you can see, the brake light illuminated in the shot. That is a Canton Police cruiser sitting at the edge of the driveway right by Washington Street.
So for orientation purposes, as far as the tow truck and your vehicle, is that coming from the top of the screen to the bottom or the bottom to the top?
It's coming from the top left to the bottom right of the screen towards the rear of the building where the Sallyport is located.
Okay, Ms. Hillman, if you could. Pause there, Ms. Hillman.
there it
As far as what's
goes.
depicted in this still shot of this video, Sergeant, what if anything do you observe?
That is the tow truck transporting the defendant's vehicle, arriving at Canton PD. My vehicle with Trooper Proctor inside, me operating, are following closely behind as we did the entire way from Dayton all the way to Canton.
Ms. Hillman, if you could play that to the end.
And look at that. So the car it went up the ramp, right? He had to drive it backwards, drive it up the ramp, and he had to like readjust and it took him not a couple tries, but it took him a minute to get it just right. And then now we see it's flat as he drives it. A lot of the snow that was on that car beforehand seems to have blown off. And we're supposed to believe that there's a hair of John's that's on the back of the car that has stayed there this whole time, which remember it's like a 45 to 50-minute drive from Dighton to Canton. And that little hair is supposed to have stayed there, and glass pieces just laying flat in the bumper area. We're supposed to believe that that all stayed. I don't. I don't believe it one bit. And here they come. That's his personal truck. Unbelievable. All right. Let's get to the
That's 118 degrees.
And you
Sallyport video. Let me skip. All right, here we are. And if it looks weird to you, there's a reason. But let's just watch. We're going to watch this a lot. You know what? There's 2 Sallyport videos that we're going to see. So I'm actually going to slow it down because we've been watching it in fast speed. So I'm going to slow it down to normal. So you guys can actually see how messed up this video is. So, all right, let's play. And just watch okay, there was a jump right there. So just watch the people. You see that? It went boop. Oh, I went too far. So now they're there. Talking. Boop. They just moved.
Sorry to direct your attention up to the video on the screen just for orientation purposes again. First of all, do you recognize what's depicted in this video?
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize it to be?
That is the Sallyport 2-bay garage at Canton Police Department with the antique Canton cruiser on the bottom of the screen, and the open spot for a vehicle in the middle of the screen with the 4-wheel drive all-terrain vehicle at the top.
Now, as far as, again, for orientation purposes, the driveway that the jury just witnessed in the prior exhibit, is that to the left of the screen, the right of the screen, or something else?
The driveway is to the right of the screen.
And this vehicle, the defendant's vehicle, is sort of taken into the garage on the opposite side, or to the left of the screen, is that correct?
Correct.
And this gentleman, if you could,
Your Honor, may we approach briefly?
Okay, could you pause that, Ms. Gilman?
So basically they're like, we've never seen this. We don't get to hear any of their argument, but they take a sidebar. She just whispered to her mouth to her parents, we don't have that. Watch her mouth. We don't have that. So that's how on top of their game all of them are, including Karen. Like Karen probably was like, what the hell is this? I've never seen this. And I'm sure the defense team was like that too, because this footage was not provided to them until earlier in April, or was it just this? No, it was like the first week of this trial. It was after trial had already started. This video they're trying to sneak it in. And you'll find there's a lot of problems with it, but let's finish with this and get to the video. So eventually it comes in. She rules on it coming in. So if I could get to the right spot.
leave the stand just for a moment.
Sure. Yeah, we'll see you back here in about 10
Okay,
now.
so
If you please the court, yes.
they're gonna argue, I think. Oh, we're gonna watch it. It's Bev sign. But pay special attention to the moving objects because you'll see them skip around and they're not actually. Yeah, just pay attention. So tow truck driver is getting out of car, seemingly passenger car,
May I get just a little closer?
passenger
Sure.
side.
Can we turn out the lights, please, Dave? Thank you.
This is the tow truck driver, and that's, I believe, Bukhenik or Proctor. All right, so a tow truck driver leaves. That one individual, where was he that whole time? So we know that guy is like hovering back here. Where is he? Do we see him? He's somewhere because all of a sudden he comes walking out. Where was he? Did he just appear out of thin air? Nope, there's another guy. Where did those people come from? And now this person over here just appeared. Like, this is the worst editing, crappy editing job I've ever seen. Watch. This guy just appears, starts shoveling. Oop, I'm gonna shovel now. I'm the shovel fairy. The snow shoveling fairy. Time to shovel. And just pop in whenever you need me to shovel. This guy's slipping around. This is real time. I slowed it down to normal speed, so we are not watching it sped up. So when people disappear or pop in and reappear, that is that's on the video. That's not anything to do with me. All these people in the back of the car. What are they doing back there? Didn't I can't remember who it was. Testify that nobody touched it. Nobody Higgins said nobody went near it, nobody touched it. There's so many people walking by, and it's right by these doors in and out that people come in and out of. And you see all these people's heads walking back and forth. Oh, that person just popped in. Who the heck was that? And now there, see how many cuts there are? We're going to go over this some more. So don't worry if you're missing them or there's just too many that I can even point out. Watch the door. Just stare at the door. Did you see that? Did you see how it was like, it went from like halfway down to now it's down and they're dealing with the tape there. So again, you can see easily where these cutscenes are. Looked like there was one just before it too. So seemingly this is the taillight we're supposed to be watching and nobody touched it, right? Nobody went that close to it. I mean, we saw everybody hovering back there, but if this is the taillight, then nobody did anything to it. Obviously, it just, we didn't see anybody do anything. But Look at the 4. There's also down here on this car, we'll see a better version of it in a little bit. But this police car, the police is spelled backwards. And the 4 is backwards. Why are things backwards? What could they do by, and who the heck was that? Somebody at trial. So, they went up through the projector or something. Anyways, seems pretty innocuous until you realize that this video is inverted, it's like mirrored. So flip it. And this is actually
Is that the end of it, Mr. Lally? Or
the driver's side you're looking at, which makes sense as to why the tow truck driver got out on that side. Because if you're thinking, why the heck did the tow truck driver get out on the passenger side? That's why. It's not the passenger side. Just think about that. And we're going to come back to that because I want to continue his testimony. So we don't have to sit through his testimony of it. I do think he probably narrates it. Let me see if he's narrating it. We'll go to let's see, let's do a little bit of his testimony just because, or you know what, I'll speed it up because he might tell us who people are, who everybody is. I think he does a little bit, but not too much. Here, let's see what he says.
Sergeant, as far as the condition of the vehicle as you observe it in this sort of pause still shot of the video, is that a fair and accurate portrayal of the condition as far as the snow or ice or anything you observe on that vehicle when it came into the Sallyport garage?
Yes, it is.
Is the only thing you could play from there? If you could just pause there for a moment.
I also want to point out, you can't see it from here, but actually, let me show you. So down here, it's the like timestamp and everything is down here, and that's also backwards. So and messed up. Sorry, hold on. Let me put that back where it was. Nope. Huh.
all right, so keep your voice up.
Sergeant Bukhenik, with reference to any individuals you see in this video, do you recognize any of those individuals?
I can recognize Trooper Proctor myself. Other than that, I don't remember exactly who else was present at this moment in time.
If you could, sir, using the laser pointer before you, just direct your attention to where you observe yourself and where you observe Trooper Proctor.
That's Trooper Proctor and myself there.
At any point in time when you were present with this vehicle in the Sallyport garage this evening of January 29, 2022, did either yourself or did you observe Trooper Proctor touch or manipulate in any way the right rear passenger side area of that vehicle?
No, we did not.
No, we did not. He asked, did you see Trooper Proctor? He said, no, we did not. Oh my God. He just told on himself. Him and Proctor both did it. He just said, we did not. Wow. I think they both did. I think they both had a lot to do with it. I think they both knew what they were doing. Buchenek's going in the car for some reason. He just put something in his pocket that was blue. And Shady Proctor. Who's this guy? Like, all these people are coming out of the woodwork. It's like the clown car. They're all coming out of the trunk of Karen's car. And now, okay, so they turned the car on, I guess, well, no, why was it on and now it's off? What the hell? See that? And then the guy appears to start shoveling. This is the worst editing I've ever seen. And now, I don't know. People keep slipping and sliding. I thought this was like an enclosed garage. Why do they have a bunch of snow in there? And all these people are in the back of the car. And knowing now that that is actually the taillight that is furthest to the closest to the wall, to those doors, that's actually the taillight in question, not the one that's in front of us that we can see. So all of these people just appearing and popping in and out and heads moving over here, it's very suspicious. This person's been standing there forever. And that person just like orbed right into the screen. And this person walks in, walks out. What's going on? And then the door comes down and it also orbs closed all the way. All right, so we're gonna watch that version again. Let's move on to, we're gonna come back to that video because I have more I want to go over with you on that. But first, let's go to his cross with Jackson, with Alan Jackson the next day. So he was on the stand. He's been on the stand for 2 days. He's coming back on Monday. So no court today, Friday. And I don't understand these hours, and it's different every day. So next week, I think it's a full day every day of the week except for Tuesday, I think. But who knows? That could change because it's Judge Bev and she does what she wants. So let's hear a little bit of this cross, and we're gonna see how fiery Jackson comes in.
Do the investigation, right? You treat it as important.
It is a point, yes.
So my question is, especially as it relates to the February 10th search, where there were multiple items found, did you seek to have CSSS come out and actually either mark with GPS coordinates or measure with cross coordinates exactly where each item of evidence was found?
We did not do that. We had collected so much evidence already, and so much has been documented at that point, that we did not contact crime scene services to come back out and photograph more shards of glass and plastic. We simply collected it for processing.
So the location of each one of those items was not of that great importance to you, at least at that time?
It was of great importance as to the fact that it was located in the vicinity where the victim was found and in the vicinity of other items located of the same characteristic, shape, size, and color.
So that's my question. So what does vicinity mean?
In the area.
Okay, what does area mean?
Obviously, he's asking about the taillight, which is very important. And that video that we just saw is extremely important because how did all those pieces end up there? Because the descriptions, as I've said, was it went from cracked to shattered and missing pieces. And then now we've got some video footage that is mirrored to play tricks on our minds and on the jury, which is a huge no-no for a prosecutor to do. And I believe he intentionally did it.
It's a location, specific location.
Okay, are we talking about, if we do this all day, I guess, are we talking about an area of 5 feet or an area of 50 feet?
Based on where the items were recovered, we're talking about an area approximately of 30 square feet between the roadway into the grass.
But we don't know that because nobody did a grid. Nobody did any measurements. Nobody did anything of that sort for this crime scene. All the things you're supposed to do for a crime scene were not done, and anything you could think to not do in an investigation, they did. Like collecting blood in red Solo cups or using a leaf blower to blow away the snow in order to find evidence. Those are just some of the things. And that's Canton PD. This is now Massachusetts State Police, which we were also told from Canton PD that they didn't want the case. MSP didn't want it, and they weren't going to come. So Canton started investigating, and that's how we got snow blowers and leaf blowers and Solo cups. This whole case is just so bizarre.
We saw photographs, Sergeant, of items that were butted up against a fire hydrant in one instance, correct? Yes.
That's correct, yes.
There was a witness who we saw a ton of photos of. It was the most boring testimony. There was the evidence tech who collected all the pieces and put them back together, testified to them. I don't know why Adam Lally didn't just go, here's a bunch of pictures. Are these the pictures? Enter them into evidence and move on. No, he had to describe every single one of them, every single piece of evidence he had to mention and ask, is that what you did? And da, 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 da. And his mumbling voice, I can't listen to him anymore. This case has me so invested, but I can't listen to Lally. For some reason, I just tune him out. Adam Lally, the prosecutor here.
Drinking straw that's out in the road, correct?
That's correct.
Another shard of glass that's in the grass, closer to the flagpole, correct?
Correct.
A hat that's under the snow, adjacent to the left side of the flagpole, correct? I'm sorry, it wasn't. It was closer to the electrical box, wasn't it?
No, the pictures documented where the hat was. It was to the right of the flagpole.
So these shards of glass, the point I'm asking is, did you seek to use basic cross coordinates, measurements from something that you know is a known object, like for instance, I don't know, a flagpole or a fire hydrant, 27 inches to the north and a foot and a half to the south of those two known points? That would give you a cross coordinate, correct?
It would document the exact location, correct?
And you did not do that with any of these items, correct?
The items that were not photographed were not also GPS located, but they were within the same vicinity of where the other items were collected.
But again, now we're back to the same question. Your word for vicinity might be different than my word for vicinity.
Yeah, what does the vicinity mean? Was it within 2 feet? 4 feet? 4 inches? What? I don't understand vicinity. He's just being vague on purpose. And he tries to do this and play word games with, semantics quite often with Alan Jackson, but Alan Jackson is way too good for him. He's not going to beat Alan Jackson on cross. No.
Right?
Objection.
Sustain.
When you recover these items, or any other items, it's obviously important to memorialize on the evidence bag or in some other way exactly where they're found, who found them, the date, time, etc. Correct?
We do the best we can to document all known information on each evidence item bagged at the time.
And
Oh no. Just the
What
best.
is part of the question here is what part of the marital estate belongs to my
Stop. I hit the wrong button. I hate that button where it skips to the next video, and that's not even a video I would have watched. Oh my gosh. Hold on. I lost our spot. All right, we're back.
exactly where they're found, who found them, the date, time, etc. Correct?
We do the best we can to document all known information on each evidence item bagged at the time.
And in terms of the February 10th search, I want to just ask you a couple of quick questions about that evidence bag. Did you
There were multiple searches, and he says on the stand that he instructed his troopers to drive past the 34 Fairview house as often as they could, when on their routes or going home or whatever, to look for more evidence. They were also told, the individuals who were searching the scene on the first CPAC, it was CPAC? No. The first, what is the acronym for their search team? I can't remember now. But the state police, when they first came to the scene, I totally lost what I was saying. Take a drink. They were told what to search for. I remembered. They were told what to search for, And basically, they were told, I think by Proctor, I think they said to look for his hat, look for pieces of taillight, and those sort of things. So they were told what to look for, what to find. That's not how an investigation should go. You search and look for evidence, and if you find evidence, then cool. But nobody's supposed to tell you, hey, search for this. I don't know. All right. Anyways, let's move on.
Bag, the items into a single evidence bag you found that day, or do you recall?
I would have to see the bag. If you have those available, I'll take a look. I can answer.
With the court's permission, the exhibit, I think it's 310, that was entered into evidence yesterday. I'd like to display that.
Okay.
You're looking at a photograph of what was previously entered into evidence as 310. Can you see that from where you're at? I don't have the evidence bag with me, so if you don't, I can certainly ask this.
It says 2/10/2022, 9:15 a.m. Sergeant Bukhenik. I can tell six pieces of red, black, and clear plastic, 34 Fairview Road, Canton.
If you can enlarge it, please.
Just a portion right. Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
I didn't realize I've got a photograph of it.
Do you need the lights on, Sergeant?
Please. Thank you.
Should make it easier.
There's 6 pieces. How long he's taking to read it? And this is sped up. He's avoiding.
Have you been able to familiarize yourself with that evidence bag?
With the photograph, yes.
Okay, thank you. Taking a look at that evidence bag, it has the information on it has your name is collected by, correct?
Correct.
The date of collection is February 10th, is that right?
That's what it says, yes.
Okay. And it indicates multiple pieces of red, black, and clear plastic, right? It actually says 6 pieces of red, black, and clear plastic, correct?
That's correct.
But that is not an evidence bag that was filled out by you.
I did not fill that bag out, no.
As a matter of fact, that's Trooper Proctor's handwriting.
I do not know what Trooper Proctor's handwriting is. I cannot confirm that that's his handwriting.
But it's not your handwriting.
It is not my handwriting, no.
So
who did it then? If that's not Buchenek's handwriting, someone collected it and put it in Sergeant Buchenek's name?
are you aware that this particular bag, that bag that contained those 6 items of plastic material that you already deemed was incredibly important to the investigation, was never going into any evidence until March 14th, the date that it was submitted to the crime lab?
I was not aware of that, no.
We can take that down, please.
So it didn't go into evidence until March 14th. So it could have been backdated. They could have just backdated everything because all of the evidence was turned in to the evidence techs on the 14th of March, which means all the searches, all the taillight pieces for the next however many days they were finding them. It doesn't matter. Like, we don't know when they actually did find them. We can't prove that they were found anywhere because we can't prove anything. These people planted them. That's what we could prove.
If I may approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
So cold. Thinking they could get away with this.
Did you ever draft a report yourself documenting the recovery of those 6 items and the other 14 items that you said that you found on the same date, February 10th?
I did not, no.
Did you leave that assuming that Trooper Proctor would document that?
Objection.
Sustained. Ask it differently.
I'll ask it another way if I can. Did you believe that you didn't need to write a report, Sergeant, because Trooper Proctor would take care of that?
I knew that it would be documented. It was already documented on the actual bag as far as who collected it, when, where, what it was, and a report eventually would be authored on it.
But the where, for all these very intricate pieces, the where is left to 34 Fairview on that, correct?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Is that right?
The general vicinity location of the other items collected and documented with photographs was consistent with the same locations this was collected.
I want to shift gears for just a second. Well, actually, I want to ask one final question about that item. Based on the documentation that you just mentioned, that it's documented on the bag, and if the bag is presented to the crime lab on on March 14th, some 5 weeks later, those items were completely unaccounted for. From a log standpoint, for the entire time from when they were collected until they were booked at the crime lab, correct?
Objection.
Sustained. Ask it differently.
Possession of those items, of those 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Are you talking about the items that were just displayed on the screen?
I am, sir.
I did not.
Now I'd like to shift gears to a ring video that you saw yesterday. It's in Exhibit 6, video number 153. That may mean nothing to you. It's the 5:07 a.m. video of Ms. Reed's car pulling out of the One Meadows garage. Do you remember that video?
I do.
Okay. You indicated yesterday on under questioning by Mr. Lally that Ms. Reed's car came in contact with or close to coming in contact with the other vehicle.
They showed a vehicle of her leaving John's driveway, which it was not a snowy day. It was bright out. She was backing out of the driveway, and they're trying to insinuate, like, I don't know what they're trying to insinuate, that she knows how to back out of the driveway. What I really wanted to do was skip a little bit forward
One
here.
more time. You can pull that up and then ask you to pause it and get out of the way. Okay?
So this is ring camera footage from John's garage or driveway, and we're gonna see whether we can tell if John's car moves or not when Karen hits it.
Okay. You just play that for a quick second, and then I'll ask you to pause it. Pause. Does that appear to be, I'm just pausing it in the first 2 or 3 seconds, does that appear to be the video that you saw yesterday?
It appears that way, yes.
Okay. Mr. Bates, if you could enlarge the area around the left rear tire of the Traverse. I'm going to ask you, sir, if you'll pay close attention to what's been zoomed, and when the SUV gets close to it, I'm going to pause it and ask you another question. Can you go ahead and play this?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this.
So why don't we pause the screen?
Of course he objects, because he's Lolly. He has no reason to object other than it hurts my case, so I don't want anybody to see this.
Go ahead and enlarge that.
He lets it in.
I'm going to ask you to pay special attention to that wheel and any movement that you may or may not see. Okay, pause it. Okay, in about the next 3 seconds, Sergeant, I'm asking you to pay special attention to it. Go ahead.
See it? I slowed it down to normal speed. Let's watch it again. It moves.
We can have the lights on.
One more time. It moves. I
We can have the lights on.
don't know what else to say. That's where she cracked her taillight.
Sergeant, were you able to see that video? I know it's not the clearest thing in the world. Were you able to see that video okay?
Hear what he has to
Yes.
say.
What did you notice about the rear wheel of the Traverse?
Based on the motion in the shot with the snow falling, it appears that there is movement, but the video speaks for itself.
What would you assess based on the movement of the rear wheel of the Traverse about whether or not the two vehicles came in contact with one another?
Objection.
Sustained.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you guys think about that? He won't even admit that it moved. He said, based on the motion of the snow and no, he won't admit that it moved, but we all saw it with our own eyes move. All right, let's skip forward a little bit. I want to get to the Sallyport video. Right about here. Let's see what AJ asks.
When I saw that video, or what video I saw with Mr. Lally.
I see. All right. I'd like to talk about that Exhibit 446 for a second.
I'm going to go back a little bit. I'm going to see what he's talking about with Lolly here. Oops.
May I?
Yes.
Thank you. Sergeant, did you have any meetings or communications with Mr. Lally in anticipation of your testimony?
Yes.
When was that?
It was about 2 weeks ago, and then last week, I believe.
And what was discussed? Generally.
Generally, we discussed the portions of the case that I would be presenting.
Did you write a report about your communications with Mr. Lally?
No, I did not.
were you shown any of the videos that you've seen here in anticipation of your testimony?
Not during the first meeting. I did review a video during the second time.
Okay, and that video was that you did see the second time was the interior video of the Sallyport that we saw yesterday, correct?
I'm just trying to remember exactly what video I saw. I had reviewed videos outside of our meeting, so I don't remember exactly what video Mr. Lally showed me.
But you do recall seeing the video that you saw yesterday, the sort of clear one that has the crime scene tape being put up and all that. You have seen that one before?
Yes.
And that was with Mr. Lally, correct?
That is not correct because I do not recall when I saw that video or what video I saw with Mr. Lally.
I see. All right. I'd like to talk about that
Okay.
Exhibit 446 for a second, and then I'll show it to you.
Oh,
You
evasive.
indicated that the video, all the videos, everything that you saw yesterday was true and accurate, correct? Based on your memory of the events that were memorialized in the video?
The video captures events taking place in accurate fashion, yes.
In an accurate fashion. All right, that's what I wanted to find out. And after you watched the video, I think you were asked by Mr. Lally, does the video show you or Trooper Proctor having access to or messing with in any way that right rear taillight in any fashion? And you said never.
I was asked if at any point Trooper Proctor and I had came into contact, I believe, or touched the vehicle and that portion of the vehicle, and I said never. We never touched the vehicle prior to it being properly processed with a search warrant.
And that was specifically his question was to, and your answer was to the right rear portion of the video, right? That right rear taillight.
The right rear damaged taillight, correct.
With the court's permission, I'd like to play a portion of Exhibit 446.
Okay.
Before we begin playing it, Mr. Bates, if you wouldn't mind, may I inquire, Your Honor, of the witness, Mr. Lay Foundation? Sir, did you recognize this as being the video that you saw yesterday?
It does look accurate,
Okay.
yes.
I just want to make sure we're on the same page. This is 446, just so you have it in mind if I reference that. Mr. Bates, if you could play that. And I think it's runtime 120. Pause it. Do you recognize that as the video we saw yesterday?
Yes, I do.
Very briefly, if you could move to time of day, 5:37:05.
They obviously have it sped up and they're going backwards or they're rewinding.
Yes. Of course, Commissioner, can we play this one?
Yes.
All right, that shows the vehicle coming into the Sallyport, and we're looking at which side of the vehicle?
So that is the driver's side of the vehicle. What that video depicts is a mirror collection. Although mirrors are accurate representation of what you're seeing, it's just inverted. So that is the driver's side of the vehicle. I do not know why it is inverted, but that's the way it was presented, collected and presented from Canton Police.
And you see at times
Canton Police gave them this video that's already proctored, as we're calling it. It is missing time, it's got skips in it, and it's also reversed so that, or mirrored, so that we're seeing the driver's side when that's not the taillight that we need to be looking at. They're trying to fool the jury. There happens to be a camera, I believe, on this wall over here that could have captured, or maybe it's over here, that could have captured what was going on here. But why don't we have that? And again, this was turned in very, very, very late discovery.
stamp or time and date stamp on the bottom of that. It's in blue.
I cannot know.
Okay. Does it appear?
Well, in fact, the defense didn't even have this. They said that we don't have it. So very late discovery.
That time and date stamp, if you can't read every letter on it, that is in correct order. In other words, that's not inverted.
I cannot read it, no.
All right, let's go and play this for a second. Who is that just got out of the car?
I do not know. I think that's the tow truck driver. He would have the only access to the vehicle.
Okay.
We did not touch the vehicle.
Who's that on the left?
I missed it. I was looking down at the laser pointer. I do not know. I know for a fact I'm the gentleman that's wearing a dark olive drab state police baseball style hat, and Trooper Mike Proctor is wearing a winter hat.
Trooper Proctor's wearing what?
A winter hat?
Back it up. That was playing, and I didn't realize it was playing while you were talking. Stop. Move it from that. And then stop. Yesterday, when you testified, you indicated that the two individuals in this scene were you and Trooper Proctor, correct?
Not correct. There was 2 individuals in the rear of the vehicle I shined my light to. That was me and Trooper Proctor.
Do you see Trooper Proctor toward the back of the rear of the vehicle there?
I can't tell because of what the head is. I just know that Trooper Proctor was wearing a black hat.
Which the person in that in the video to the left, to the rear of the car, is wearing a black hat, correct?
I can't tell. I don't want to be locked into a statement where later on you show me that it's somebody else magically. I can't testify to that.
There's no magic about this. It's your testimony. I'm just asking you what you see.
I don't see that. No.
I snorted. I snort when I laugh. I apologize. But not really. I'm not sorry for it. Sorry, not sorry.
I'm going to play it this way. Do you see the person toward the back of the vehicle walking toward the opposite side of the SUV?
I do.
What area does he appear to be going to?
He appears to be going towards the rear passenger side of the vehicle, although it does not appear so because the video is inverted, a mirror image. That's where he's going.
And Sgt. Bukhenik, you testified for at least a half an hour about this video yesterday, correct?
I'm sorry, it was a long day. I don't know the timing of how long I testified.
You significantly testified about this video yesterday, did you not?
Yeah.
I testified about this video.
And you testified that it was true and accurate, correct?
Correct.
You testified that it was reflective of your observations of what was happening in that Sallyport that evening, correct?
Yep.
I testified that this is a accurate scene and collection of video evidence from the Sallyport.
And as that truck sits in that Sallyport, just like this, it appears from all perspectives that what we're looking at is the passenger side of the car, and that right rear taillight is right there shining in our face, correct? From this perspective.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
From this perspective, from the perspective that the jurors are looking at,
Okay.
from all indications, that would appear to be the right side of the truck, the passenger side of the truck, and that taillight that you can see is the right rear taillight, from this perspective, correct?
The way it presents itself, yes.
And yesterday, during the entirety of your questioning by Mr. Lau, not once did you mention that this video is actually completely inverted, correct?
Did not know.
Mr. Lau didn't ask you if it was inverted, correct?
That's correct.
And if I hadn't gotten up here and begun questioning you, that would be left uncorrected, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Maybe.
The person with the winter cap appears to walk directly to the what ultimately should be the right rear taillight of this car, correct?
That's the vicinity, yes. That's where he is. Yeah.
Pause it. I'd like you to pay attention to the right rear of this car. And I know we're completely backward, but it's the far corner of the car. Do you see a person's head there?
It appears as if someone's still there.
And that person is located at or near what portion of the car?
In real life or as it's depicted?
Is the person near in real life, near the...
In real life, you idiot.
Yes.
Matter of fact, standing there hovering around it, correct?
We don't know the distance that they are in proximity to the actual vehicle. We just know that they're behind the vehicle. That
Looks like it's pretty close, doesn't it? Sergeant?
Objection.
Sustained.
Does that look like he's in close proximity to the right rear taillight?
As I said, I can't tell how far away he
Yeah.
is from the vehicle.
His head's right there, sir. You can't tell that he's right next to the right rear taillight?
Right here.
Sustained.
All right. I want you to pay attention to what that person does as soon as the other person comes out from behind that car. See if you see him move. Stop it. Did you see that person move?
I saw movement in the frame, yes.
Right when the other person is in eyesight of the person toward the right rear, correct?
I mean, the video speaks for itself.
Yeah, it does.
No.
Objection, Your Honor.
The objection sustained. No commenting, Mr. Jackson. We've talked about that.
I'm going to ask Mr. Bates to back it up because there's one other issue I want you to pay attention to, if you can, right at this moment or right before this moment, and that is the timestamp. We back it up in maybe 10 seconds. Right about there. Don't play yet. Instead of paying attention to the individuals, I'm going to ask you, can you see, may I approach the screen right now? Can you see the timestamp at 5:37 and 37 seconds p.m.? Can you see that from where you're at?
No, I cannot.
Me neither. Glad I don't like that. Let's play it for about 10 seconds. Pause it. Did you see another person just appear toward the rear end of the car?
Yep.
There was a fog of some sorts. It did appear as if a person was actually in. There was 2 people back there, and 2 people walked away, or 1 person walked away.
The timestamp jumped to 5:38:01. correct?
I cannot see the timestamp, sir.
You saw a
Did it appear
timestamp
that
jump.
there was an anomaly? There was a portion of that video that was deleted. Or it's missing. Not deleted, just missing.
Objection.
Can you tell that? Does it appear that way to you, Sergeant?
No, Your Honor, I cannot tell what is happening with the video.
Jury
Take a look,
can.
close look at there's a
The
classic
jury knows.
police car in that Sallyport, correct?
There's an antique vehicle there, yes, yes.
If you take a close look at the trunk of that vehicle, see the word police,
Yes, I believe I can read that, yes.
and it's backward, correct?
It is mirrored, correct.
That's a good indication that this is an inverted video, right?
It appears that way, yes.
And if we were to fast forward at 5:42, not another 20 seconds. There you go. Can we just play it at this point? No. You take one pause it. Pause it. You see the Sallyport garage came down?
Yes,
You see a number on the garage?
I do.
Is that correct?
What is correct?
Does the number appear correct? Is that how you make it forward?
No, the number's in the mirror image, yes.
I just wanted to make the point. Everything in this video is completely backward, correct?
It's not backwards, it's mirrored, reversed. You can look yourself in the mirror in the morning. You still see your own face. It's not
No.
backwards.
But my mirror image is not an accurate depiction of who I am. My
Check.
actual physical appearance is who I am, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
A mirror image, Sergeant, is not an accurate video of this, is it?
Objection.
It's a mirror image by definition.
Sustained. Ask it differently, Mr. Jackson.
Ron, thank you. I would like to mark.
Feds are coming for ya.
I have a. We can bring the lights up.
Wait.
I'd like to have Mark with the court's permission.
I do not.
Okay.
We can approach and I can certainly bring it up.
So at this point, Alan Jackson wants to bring in this thumbnail or this thumbnail, a thumb drive with potentially some footage on there that might maybe be the actual video footage or something else. We're not sure. But Lolly objects and says he's never seen it. And then they go to a sidebar and then they end for the day. So I think what might be on there is the actual footage that's not cut or potentially the other video. So maybe, just maybe, Ellen has proof of the smashing of the taillight. I don't know, but it would be great to find out on Monday what it is. So, or what's on that thumb drive, because Lolly did not want it coming in, but it's probably going to. If it's the real, if there's anything on there that actually shows them purposefully smashing that taillight, they're screwed. I mean, they're going to federal prison for a long time. Yeah, so we're going to move on to something else here. This is Microdots. Microdots has actually been hired by the defense team to work on some of their images and technology. They actually they created the image that Jackson has been using all throughout the trial of 34 Fairview Road. So you get like the whole picture depicted. So that was Microdots. So this is actually Microdots did some editing and did some things. So we're going to see what this first video is about. I'm going to take that off so you can see. Hold on one second. All right, here we go. So I had to readjust the screen, so sorry about that. Here is the first video. I'm going to show you two Microdots videos. This is the first one.
Now, as far as, again, for orientation purposes, the driveway that the jury just witnessed in the prior exhibit, is that to the left of the screen, the right of the screen, or something else?
The driveway is to the right of the screen.
Right of the screen.
The right of the screen.
So that would be this way on this side, but what? Because it's reversed, so he's all screwed up on his directions, right?
The defendant
The
vehicle was
driveway
fully into
should have been where the car was coming in at, not the reverse side. So we're gonna see uh, this next video. He puts together a little. Um, he puts together a little presentation for us.
This video presented by the Commonwealth appears to show Karen Reed's Lexus entering the Canton Police Department Sallyport, with an irregularity to her right side taillight. The driver gets out of the passenger side seat. There are 9 significant cuts, totaling 9 minutes and 18 seconds removed from the video.
We'll come back. Well, let's just pause on that. Look at that. They went through this microdots individual. I believe it's a man. They went through and found all these discrepancies. And like a 10-second might be like someone walking in and out of the Sallyport and you don't want to see them. Remember Higgins and Berkowitz not supposed to be there, but yet we do know that at some point they both were there. And they key carded into the Sallyport area, so we know for a fact they were there. But maybe maybe that's part of missing footage. I don't know. But there's a lot of areas where there was even 2 minutes. Look at that at the very end. 2 minutes and 47 seconds is deleted from this video. And this is the crap that the Commonwealth has been pulling from the beginning, trying to gaslight the entire nation, now the world, because everybody's eyes are watching this and they have dug themselves way too deep, way too far. All these people, I think the feds need to come take them out, take them all away.
Significant cuts, totaling 9 minutes and 18 seconds removed from the video. The number 4 on the bay door and the words written on the rear of the police car are backwards.
You can see the police down here where my mouse is circling.
This video has clearly been edited to remove all of the portions that would show the officers gathered around and examining the actual rear right side tail light.
Yep.
Because if they didn't, it would have been obvious that the entire image has been flipped with the intention of deceiving the jury. This is the true orientation of the video.
Oh, look at that.
It's possible that this could all be blamed on user error.
That's the driver's side. Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. The 4 makes sense. The word police makes sense. The timestamps are probably making more sense. I can't read them, but they're down there.
If it weren't for 2 important facts. First, the timestamp should not be reversed when the video is oriented correctly, as we see here. This seems to indicate that it was added after the video was flipped. The video footage and the timestamp should both be correct or incorrect together, as it was presumably imprinted onto the video as it was recorded.
So they even faked the imprint of the time. They obviously manipulated this video in many ways. And they're trying to play it off to the jury and to the public like we're all idiots and we just will buy whatever you feed us. And that's stupid.
And 2, why does there seem to be an issue with the left side tail light? No damage has ever been mentioned to that side of Karen's vehicle before. After examining this video, it appears the Commonwealth has tampered with the footage. The video has definitely been flipped, a new timestamp likely superimposed, with all clips showing officers examining the rear right side edited out, and the rear left tail light likely altered to radiate more white light. If there's an innocent explanation for this, it escapes me.
right? So why would, I'm going to play it again. Why would the tail light on the driver's side look like it's affected? They obviously try to pull a fast one over on all of us. Obviously. They planned this out. They did a poor job, but they obviously planned this out. All right, so let's escape from that one. Let's also take a look at this. Okay. So Microdot says yesterday, immediately after ADA Lally and Trooper Bukhenik presented the flipped Sallyport video in open court. So that was actually Wednesday when he did this. They played another video. This one, taken from a different, real, unflipped angle, was much closer to Reed's SUV inside the Sallyport. Notably, you can't see much of anything in this video. Isn't it extremely convenient that this video is blacked out, making it nearly impossible to identify the discrepancy between the two orientations? If it were clear, it would be very easy to notice one video was flipped and the other one was true. Don't forget how much planning has gone into the Commonwealth's case. It's becoming increasingly difficult to believe these are all just convenient coincidences, especially with so much at stake. So somebody, you can't really see much in this video. You can kind of see an outline of somebody there. But this person actually did a little bit of a contrast, played with the contrasting a little bit, and now you can definitely see where the person's standing and the edge of the car. So you can see how close they were standing there. So that is what I have for you regarding the SUV taillight. We have a lot of problems with it, obviously, and it appears we might even have some exculpatory video that might inculpate some other people, perhaps, maybe. I hope that it clears Karen. All right, so this last video that I was going to play is just a real quick sneak peek at what Alan Jackson has to say about Trooper Proctor and whether he's going to testify or not. So this was taken after court on Thursday, the last day of court this week. It's so confusing because I never know what day they have court. So it was not Friday, it's Thursday, the last day of this week. Anyways, so this was as they're leaving court that day. And of course, press and everybody wants to talk to the attorneys, and Jackson is already having kind of a mini press conference here right by their getaway car so they can get away from the courthouse. The audio's not that great, but you can hear.
This is when no one's allowed no more here. No one's allowed. You're going in, but no one else. We're limiting.
That's Tom. This is Tom CPU, by the way. Sorry. Tom CPU, he streams live outside the courtroom like in the mornings before court. He's there all day throughout the day, and he does the evenings when Karen Reed walks. They like escort her to and from her car. They, meaning Tom CPU and a bunch of the individuals that are out there supporting Karen. So that's where I got this stream. So he's following them out to their car. Alan Jackson is already bombarded by media. We're going to see what they do.
Go sneak up in here then. Go sneak up.
Yeah, because that guy's on and on. I'll go half white. Okay. All right. Get the good video, flip. All these things. All right. Okay, thanks. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's on that SUV. It's enough to crack it for sure. And it did crack. I mean, did you see the juror's reaction today when they saw that wheel move? That's not a small thing.
But you don't claim it was shattered at that.
It absolutely was not. We know it wasn't shattered. We've got other video of her driving out at 5:07, and it was not shattered.
It was not shattered.
Cracked, but not shattered.
Is there any indication
Bye, guys.
Proctor is going to testify?
Yeah, Proctor's going to testify. Under you guys or them? They're gonna call him.
Good to know.
There you have it. The Commonwealth is calling Trooper Proctor. Is he going to plead the fifth on many questions? Perhaps, but they are calling Trooper Proctor. It would look so bad if they don't. So I think they are feeling forced to, especially because of the defense and the way that they are coming so hard at him. And they mentioned Trooper Proctor over and over and over again. And I wanted to play one clip. Hold on, I don't have it ready. One second. All right, here. And I'm gonna end you off on kind of a funny note. So we're gonna watch, this is the very, very beginning of Alan Jackson crossing Bukhenik. So I didn't play this part before, and you'll see why. So it's kind of funny. So he's just beginning, and he's got a lot of
I'm
questions.
going to start with one of the latter things that you discussed with Mr. Lally. That's specific to the ring video that y'all talked about this morning. Do you have that in mind?
I do.
The search warrant that produced, and just so we're clear, I'm talking about the specific ring video or series of videos that were associated with One Meadows, John O'Keefe's home.
Okay.
Okay. You didn't write the search warrant for those ring videos, did you?
I did not.
You were not the affiant for those search warrants.
I was not.
Who was the author of the search warrant and the affiant?
It was Trooper Mike Proctor.
Who received the actual ring video or videos from the Ring Corporation?
It was Trooper Mike Proctor received it.
Proctor.
And who ultimately either logged those into evidence or controlled those once they were received from the Ring Corporation?
I believe it was Trooper Mike Proctor.
And ultimately,
Proctor.
Sergeant Bukhenik, you did note that in addition to just the physical videos themselves, that login information and login keystrokes, et cetera, were requested from the Ring Corporation as well, correct?
There was discussion with Ring asking for those logs.
I'll call it, is it correct to say an activity log?
That's what was requested, yes, activity log, yes.
So ultimately, the activity log would show who logs in, who accesses the data, things of that nature, correct? Or at least that was the hope.
That is what was requested.
All right. It would also show logging in and executing deletions, manipulating the log files, things of that nature, correct?
That is what was requested, yes.
When you reviewed those log or activity logs, there was no evidence revealed that my client ever logged into that account, correct?
There was no activity logs provided by Ring.
So you have zero. Hang on. Isn't it true that Ring contacted Trooper Proctor and indicated that they had created a Dropbox folder that contained the evidence that had been sought in the search warrant?
Objection.
Sustained.
Isn't it true that the search warrant return specified account information, video recordings, and number 3, activity logs associated with video recordings for all times displayed in UTC?
Activity logs.
I'm not aware of that, no.
Do you recall that activity logs were in fact provided from the Ring Corporation?
I do not recall that, no.
Okay. May I approach briefly?
Yes.
He doesn't recall.
Take a look, Sergeant, at that paragraph with my fingers on the third paragraph down the middle of the page, and review that to yourself and let me know when you're finished.
You know, he's reading, he's going, oh crap, what lie do I come up with next? What should I say? It takes a long time to read some of these things. He's still reading.
Does this refresh your recollection as to the items received from the Ring Corporation?
That is the first time I saw that document, so it does not refresh my recollection. I simply read it.
So do you have a recollection, as you sit here, that in fact during the course of your investigation, the 3 items that you received from the Ring Corporation were the account information, the video recordings, and, quote, activity logs associated with the video recordings, all times displayed in UTC?
To the extent of its availability, as it says in that document.
Okay. The long and short of it is, during the entire course of your investigation, that investigation never revealed any evidence whatsoever that my client ever even accessed the account information for the Ring account associated with this search warrant, correct?
Nothing provided by Ring proved or suggested or proved any evidence of that type of activity, no.
Okay.
Trooper Proctor, you were notified.
I am not Trooper Proctor.
Let's back up 1 second.
Associated with this search warrant, correct?
Nothing provided by Ring proved or suggested or proved any evidence of that type of activity, no.
Trooper Proctor, you were notified.
I am not Trooper Proctor.
I'm sorry. No, you're not.
It still makes me laugh so hard. This had to be on purpose. And it is so beautiful. And he did it so masterfully. He just threw that in there. Oh, Trooper Proctor. He's like, wait, I'm not Trooper Proctor. Oh my God, I have to listen to it one more time. I laughed so hard. I was watching the Melanie Little stream and she was laughing. I was laughing hysterically. Everybody in the chat was putting laughing emojis. This was hilarious.
Or suggested or proved any evidence of that type of activity, no.
Trooper Proctor, you were notified.
I am not Trooper Proctor.
I'm sorry. No, you're not. Sergeant Bukhenik.
Sergeant Bukhenik.
How do I say it?
Bukhenik.
I'll give that a
Can't,
shot.
it's fine.
Bukhenik?
Yes.
Is that better?
That's better.
All right, I'm going to leave you on that note because I thought it was really funny. He called him Trooper Proctor because we all know he's sitting in the seat where Trooper Proctor should be sitting because Trooper Proctor was the lead investigator. Trooper Proctor is being investigated. There's an internal investigation from MSP, Massachusetts Police, because of the allegations that he could have planted things, and he lied about certain things, and he definitely lied in his first testimony to the grand jury. And then he finally came clean and said, "Oh yeah, no, by the way, I do know the Alberts. I forgot to tell you that they're longtime family friends. I just forgot that little bit of information." Um, so yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave you. Um, that and don't forget his little striptease. So on those two notes, let's go out on the. Do I still have it? Oh no, I think I got rid of it. Oh, the striptease. That was funny too. Sorry, I didn't. I got rid of it. The tab. Anyways, so think of that over the weekend while we are waiting patiently, ever so patiently, for Monday to arrive, so that we can finally get to see Alan go really head to toe with this guy and tell him, what's up regarding this Sallyport video, and maybe we've got some actual video of him and Proctor doing something nefarious. We do, well, like I said, in that as we were watching, and the question was, did you see anything that Proctor did to that taillight? And he said, no, we didn't. And I think that's pretty telling that maybe it was a we that had a little hand in it. So that's kind of the thought that I'm going to leave you guys on. Enjoy your weekends, and I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye now.
If you've been impacted by a true crime and would like your story told in your own words, or if you or someone you know has been wrongfully convicted or accused of a crime, please write to crimeincourtchannel@gmail.com and tell us your real true crime encounters. Thanks for watching.